Right, good evening. Let's continue. My name is Alexey Konashevich. I'm a second year last JD researcher. And today I'm talking about the blockchain, and I'm happy that our community of blockchain researchers is growing. Yeah. The discussion is why are tokens not titles? This is a part of my research work related to the tokenization of real estate on the blockchain. So this is an analysis, the legal domain and the technology. Title is an evidence of ownership, and the token is the record on the blockchain of some amount of units that belong to some address. In some sense, they have much in common, and they have differences. The title represents some immutable property, the ownership, and the token actually can do the same, but now the problem is that it cannot represent immutable properties because it requires legislative changes. When we compare these two, the title can be divisible, the co-ownership or joint ownership. A lot of people may have property rights. And the same, the token can be divisible and it can be transferred to different addresses. I mean, the token of the same issue. The title is regulated by law. The token is regulated by technology. And, well, actually it's not correct to say regulated because token is the technology itself. And the truth is that the token does not care about the technology, actually. It doesn't care about the law. Because even if law says something, it is not necessarily can be done by the technology. If there is no access, even if the law says, it's possible. This is what we call Codes law, which is already mentioned today. The title is enforceable. It means that third parties may have access to your property rights, like judge, a notary, custodian, guardian, some other third parties. If it's lost, you may restore. There are also rights of third parties, like liens and encumbrances, for example, mortgage. When we are talking about tokens, the transactions are irrevocable and immutable, and there is no one except you. If you own this, the private key to the address, no one has an access. And this is a kind of challenging part if we want to use tokens as titles. When we're talking about risks, there are a lot of risk of mistakes made by people manually. And the token doesn't have this problem if the system is properly designed. There is no need actually people to manually perform these transactions. The second thing, titles, because it is centralized technology, they may be at risk of the corruption. There is no actually risk of the corruption of token, but there is a problem of duplication or multiplication of tokens because of the hard fork. You might have heard that, for example, Bitcoin was split first to a new network, which is Bitcoin Cash, and the third network, which is the Bitcoin Gold. So if you originally had a record in the Bitcoin, now you have 3 records of the same amount, let's say tokens or cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, in all the 3 of these. When we're talking about property rights and title, people have been developing legal concepts the last 2,000 years, and we know a lot of concepts. there are property rights to own, to use, to dispose, and all agreements deal with one of these, or two or three. And for example, if you rent, you have the right to own and to use, or if you have the contract of mortgage, you are limited to dispose in the interests of third parties, of the creditor. About properties of token, I can say that there are no properties, because the only thing you can do is to transfer this, let's say, record from one address to another. This is the property of the token. Now I'm working to address all these issues which I have today presented to you. And I have the concept of how to develop this system. But this is another story. So thank you very much for your attention. Yeah, I will be happy to answer your questions.